What's the story, Raf?
What's up,
So,
coach?
episode 3 of In the Shadows, and today we both said we'd get on and talk about the design process of how we came up with the S1. And you have some really, really old prototypes that you're going to go through. I have some more modern prototypes with me, but you've got the really good stuff. So, yeah, keep them well.
Yeah, well, I this was starting from my sparring days. So even before trying the lace closure, sparring with this glove, and every time you put tape on it, it would actually rip the paint off.
Right.
So this is when I was designing the stuff for the Navy SEALs, and we were designing a hard hat for the boat guys, and it
Right.
has this ribbon which doesn't stretch. So I started using, it's like the suspension band. So I started trying
Yeah.
to use this, and the original idea was just quick, just have a little hole in it. And
Mm.
then after you get laced up, this you can really bear down and it doesn't stretch.
Yeah.
And then it evolved from there, thinking, like you can't get out of this yourself. You still need somebody to tie you, right? So another version I started doing was it's basically what's similar to lace converters now.
Mm.
I think a lot of people don't realize the trick to having that style lace converter is doing it as a an
X
X,
loop.
like a bow
Yeah.
tie, so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
when you pull it, it pulls all, and then you kind of just loop yourself like this. I still think that that wasn't perfect. So one of the prototypes that I made, the other glove of this, which I've since hacked up and deflated, but I still have
You know
it.
what, Raf? I still see guys come into my gym with gloves like that. You know, and,
Exactly, exactly.
trying to spar. I'm just like, how much foam is left in those 16
Yeah,
ounce gloves,
yeah,
huh?
yeah, yeah. This is just, yeah. So the theory with this one was there's actually ribbon here.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, and then there's this ribbon, and then there's actually another ribbon keeper here, so that when you pull it, you know, and then you could pull all of this. So this way, at least it's located in the same in the top wrist
Exactly, and
break
it's
area.
it's just it's right on the joint where you want to have that protection.
Exactly. So that was the point of putting that there and then lacing this up. But it really, after starting to mess with these, it's like this just wasn't, this wasn't the way to do it. And
Okay.
the
Yeah.
first time that I actually tried to lace through everybody, and I was just like, oh, okay, there might be something here, but tying a knot. That prototype is in one of the factories right now. One day I'll get it back, but I
Yeah.
think you'd have some of the ones that started coming on after, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So this was this was the one when we met up in Vegas for the Habib fight, I believe.
Yeah,
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 we had
yeah.
with the brown ones. I think we had one or two pairs of white as well. But yeah, we're still using that. I think that's the same type of material, Raf, that you're talking about that you were using for the Navy SEAL. Very rigid material.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that one looks funny because the edge is all ripped up. So that one might just be a Cordura. I think I probably just like laser cut and just made something. Versus
Right.
this is like actually like a ribbon. So
Right.
it's edged. Um, but
Yeah.
same idea. Like we don't want a lot of stretch for that
Yeah.
strap.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. You want the tension to be pulled in on the lace and to pull the Gulf Coast.
yeah, we actually tried a version where the strap was elastic. Actually, I have some like it
Stretch.
actually, yeah, it actually stretches. I think it's an okay idea. But I like just like bearing down on that tape, and it really just hugs everything because if it's elastic, the leather can eventually like puff it out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As you make a punch and the wrist does this, like the elastic will still have enough give.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Wh-
don't want give. Yeah. Exactly. You don't want
Yeah,
give. And
yeah,
come here, a quick one, Ralph. The configuration of the lace.
yeah.
Where did that come from? How did you how did you figure out by lacing it this way that we get everything pulled in on at once? Because I
Yeah,
mean, that's the magic in it,
yeah,
realistically.
there's an original idea where like I was just like I wonder if I can just pull it once and then do a second one and then do a third one. So there's even old versions where there's like literally three different laces.
Mm.
And then at some point I'm like, I have a long enough lace. Is there a way that I can actually weave this in and out going through? And the benefit of that is if it's one lace and they can tie onto itself, you can actually self-correct it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, well, as you see, as it moves around, it will always conform. As we pull, it'll always pull everything together and center.
Exactly. So when they were
Yeah,
separate laces, you just
yeah,
had to hope to God that you pick the right length and you cut the right thing and tie the right knot. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think that was the other thing that was annoying to me was that because there were so many knots happening,
Mm,
it wasn't uncomfortable, but you could start to feel it after a while.
yeah,
So yeah, and then now the factory can actually sew the lace like this together and then actually put a stitch through it so that there's no more knot, but you still
yeah.
get the benefit of it
The
being able to
flexibility
move.
and the mobility of the it being the one lace. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. And come here,
So
just on the. I'm just looking back on
I
the
haven't seen
stitch
that. I
this
haven't
one.
seen that glove in 4 years, 3 years, however
Yeah,
long ago that was.
I don't know how many. I don't know how many different variations of that stitch line that we thought about before we came up with that. But it such a beautiful, the X, the little bit of stitching and this bar that is unique to all of our gloves now. That's if people look at the glove and they see this line, they can nearly be guaranteed that it's our S1,
Yeah, the S1s now, the actual cuff of the leather is the one that
Yeah,
goes up,
yeah,
versus that old one, it's just a detail.
yeah. It's a
Um,
design feature, but now, yeah, as you can see, now we've got a newer glove.
yeah.
This was our fourth edition, fourth
Okay.
edition white glove. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
there, as you said, we
Yeah, that
changed.
actually allows your wrist bones actually don't aren't
Yeah,
completely
vertical.
perpendicular.
Yeah,
So supporting it up this way is a good
yeah.
way to try to make sure that you don't get some
You don't
crazy
jar. Yeah,
flexion. Yeah, when you make an impact. So letting that cuff creep
come
up a
up.
little bit actually helps stabilize it because if it's this way, you get
Yeah,
significantly
it's
more
worse.
bending.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
that angle. That slight angle.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
and I think when that brown glove that you have, I think I just made a drawing and sent it to, one of our vendors and they just like turned that around. It probably arrived here and I flew out to Vegas the next day. You know what I mean? I sort of remember just like gathering as much stuff right
well,
before that Vegas trip.
yeah.
You know,
Obviously, you can see as well the old stitch line as well is it's a bit big on this one.
it's a bit big. The shield is massive. It looks a little loud. Just not
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We're a little bit subtle, a little bit more subtle than that.
Yeah, yeah. So, but
Um,
I'd still love to make a brown leather glove
the
someday. I
real
think.
old school. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If people, I still have one or two pairs of those in the gym. And people are like, "You're gonna do the brown. You're gonna do the brown."
Yeah. Well, it's because it's tough because it's like it's still classic styling. Like,
Yeah,
just having that X lace track, having the basic cuff, but then angling it. Now it's a little different, but it's still not like loud with all these, crazy features onto it. I think it'll still lend itself to either going classic or just a little bit more refined.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah. But
So we're on to the fourth edition glove. So
mhm.
this is the glove that's pretty much it's the same glove now, but a couple of different things. We used the sticker for this first one.
The heat transfer label that allowed us to have a very, very significantly metallic finish. So that looked really good, especially on the black. And the black, it just stuck to the leather. It really liked it. But the
Yeah,
white didn't love that one.
yeah,
So
yeah. It was unfortunate, wasn't it? But yeah, the sticker came off after I don't know, a month or two of use, and it just started peeling. It was a
yeah,
bit of a
there's probably
hassle.
only what, like 20 or 30 of those in the world that we
Yeah,
gave to friends and family and
yeah,
trainers and testers and things like that before we, fully launched.
Yeah.
The newer one is, the embossed, so it's screen printed and then it's embossed. So it's as if
Yeah.
like
But
tattooed on there.
this glove, I gave this out to a couple of fighter friends, uh, and they love the glove. They still use the glove without the sticker. So most of them have the gloves, and they're just all white. But they love them. They love the feel because all the features, all the unique features for the S1 were implemented into this glove. And the only problem was the sticker came off. So you know as a glove on itself, there was no issues with the foam on the inside or anything like that. It was just the sticker. So I still have obviously Keane Cowley, a very very high level toy boxer and a very very high level MMA fighter, wears these gloves all the time. He has them. How many years ago now? Was it
Yeah, that would have
probably
been,
3 or 4 years ago now? This
yeah,
stage,
2019, I think, is
right? Well,
when that would have, when the brown glove would have been the Khabib fight, right?
yeah.
So I
Me,
can't
I'm terrible. I'm terrible with dates, but
yeah. Well, I
yeah,
think that's
but
also something to be said because the glove has a lot of premium foams in there.
yeah,
So it won't immediately, I mean, some like the pros it's never been an issue. You give it to the pros and they're used to punching, out of nothing. So like they'll break it in and they'll wear it into themselves and it lasts long. Some people don't love that it has to break in, but
yeah.
as with a nice pair of hockey gloves, a next nice pair, like
Nice
of
pair of
skates,
shoes.
yeah, just yeah,
Yeah,
soccer shoes, like anything that's supposed to last long and perform really well, usually has some stiffness and rigidity. So we've toned that down since that version, I believe.
that's right.
Yeah,
Oh
so
yeah, same. Johnny Walker has a pair of these in the black. He got them. He was one of the first guys we gave the first edition black gloves to. And obviously on the black glove, the heat transfer stayed on perfectly, and he's still using the gloves to this day. Foam is
yeah,
still,
it's
the
crazy.
foam is still. It's obviously softened up a good bit at this stage, but still uses them on a daily basis, sparring, and that's obviously a testament to the foams and stuff that we put in, the stuff that you've came up with it yourself, the different layered foams and stuff.
Yeah, we had a customer actually reach out about knuckle pads and different styles of knuckle pads and all these things that they put in. In general, I would say if it's a brand new glove, you shouldn't need that yet. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like the knuckle pads are sort of like really a glove life extender.
yeah, yeah, just to
Because
keep the knuckle safe. Obviously, when the foam breaks down, and you can start to see, like I always say, we have guys in the gym and they're coming in and they may as well have that glove that you just showed us there a second ago because the knuckles are protruding out. And
right.
obviously, then you want to be, putting the knuckle pad on just to help give you that, give the knuckles that extra support, isn't it?
Yeah, because the it's not a worry, but it's something that people don't really consider is the knuckle pad actually changes your positioning. If like this is the foam of the glove and this is your hand, the knuckle pad actually puts you a little bit different. A lot of times it's easier to open, but a lot of times it's
A lot harder.
significantly harder to close
Mm.
that glove, and it just puts you in a different position from where you were intended. So um, mm, you know, I don't know if I'm allowed to share any spoilers, but we've been working on a knuckle pad too, but
Mm.
it's a little thinner and I'd say it's probably better if the glove designer also designed the knuckle pad versus trying to like mix and match from different
Yeah.
companies because they don't have in mind, where the hand position would have been.
Yeah, well, obviously for you, Raf, you know exactly where the hand position is going to be in this, where it is in this glove. So adding in the knuckle pad that we are working on, the smaller knuckle pad,
Yeah.
it's gonna fit perfectly in underneath this glove, and as I
And
said,
that
it's
also
staying.
that actually also leads to the hybrid hand wrap.
Mm,
The first time I started trying to sew hand wraps together was because back in the day when I started, the 16-ounce gloves used to be these giant, I would be floating around like crazy. So
yeah.
I tried to just wrap twice, but
Mm,
then you'd end up with this like monstrous hand that you couldn't do much either. So, but then that's the day that I realized I'm like, oh, maybe two materials would actually help. And we
Yeah,
can have another episode on that if you want to
we'll
talk about.
definitely have
Yeah.
another episode on that. But also, just talking about those 16-ounce, wearing the 16-ounce gloves. For me, I used to wear toy boxing gloves, windy gloves, like
Yep.
16-ounce. And for the same reason, I wouldn't wrap my hands because it was, there was so much space. You would have to double wrap, and then you can barely make a fist, and it's a nightmare. But then when you don't wrap your hands, there's so much space between. If I put this glove on now, you probably won't see it now because these are narrow. But the what I used to hate about the glove was there'd be two inches or so of
Yeah.
space here where my
Yeah.
hand could move around. I
Yeah.
can't do it in these because these are the narrow. That was one of the reasons why we decided to do a 16-ounce in both sizes, in the regular
Two
size and in
sizes
the
is
narrow.
yeah, two sizes of 16-ounce. Because ultimately what happens is they're trying to everyone else is trying to design a glove with that as a center. But if you
Yeah,
think about it, as soon as you make a fist, your thumb pulls your hand all the way this way, which
yeah,
would
and then
always leave the excess room on this side. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like a lot of people don't realize it's like it's not going to be it's not going to be centered. It's actually always going to go towards the thumb,
it pulls towards the thumb. Yeah, exactly, because your thumb is pulling the glove towards your knuckles.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was one of the main reasons why we done the multiple size
Yeah, two
because
sizes of 16-ounce gloves. Guys
yeah,
like me, we have guys like James Perella.
yeah,
It just fits him so much better. He just likes that feel.
yeah,
So
yeah. And for me, that was it. When I tried on the narrow compared to the regular, I knew the
yeah,
narrow is what I need to be wearing. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I
Yeah,
had a conversation with the Nolan brothers when I was on their show talking about how Um, older brothers like tight material, tight
yeah,
fitting uh, sports equipment, and then younger brothers, because they always got hand-me-downs, they're
yeah,
okay with like
yeah.
being
The
so
space.
loose, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Well, that's like in other sports, and that's not necessarily
Well,
between.
it's like
But
when I used to walk around with my brother's runners on, and I'd drop them, and he was two sizes too big. I was like clown feet, but I
yeah,
looked good.
yeah,
I
yeah,
looked good, but
yeah, yeah,
this is
yeah.
it.
So,
Getting
and
those hand
yeah,
me downs, yeah.
and I would also say same thing with the grip bar changing, right?
Yeah,
So if you're gripping the glove this way and then everything pulls towards the thumb, when that grip bar is completely straight,
yeah.
like you end up having to make your
Work
fist
hard.
like this,
Yeah,
right? And these are some of the weaker,
yeah.
um, muscles, tendons,
But yeah,
ligaments.
yeah, bones, everything. Yeah, that's where the
Yeah.
Bennett's fracture is.
So as soon as you put it this way, you at least, you might not be able to grab all of it, but you give yourself a better chance to
Yeah.
be able to make that fist,
To make that
So
natural fist, and that's
yeah,
one of the main features of the angle grip art as well. But
yeah,
you're working hard to close that pinky,
yeah,
and then with your pinky being slightly open and the knuckle not being completely closed, when you hit with the smaller knuckles, that's when we get those fractures.
yeah.
That closed that angled grip bar and the closed on the thumb
Yeah, you
feature.
can actually see it. I have a glove here right behind me.
Go on.
You can see the big difference between our glove and a lot of other gloves is the space between the throat
Yeah,
of the glove into the thumb seam. Like
yeah,
there's not a lot of room there.
yeah.
Meaning our center and where the thumb allows you to close
Well,
is a lot closer than I'm just pulling a glove here that the one that was
yeah,
just talking about. See where
yeah,
the center throat is to where
yeah,
the seam is. You know, I always believe that having allowing more of this fat, this muscle to
yeah.
move,
The pull close to
lets
the fingers.
yep, yep. So, I've described this before. It's like when the skin is tight,
Mm,
everything's supported. When the skin is loose, you
yeah,
can grab all this, and then the bones there's just more room for bones
To move
buckle.
into and break. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Because ironically, tape and gauze is just trying to do a better job than skin,
Yeah,
which,
yeah.
like, the guys that work out their hands pushing, turning screwdrivers all day,
Screwdrivers and
and
stuff. Yeah,
like they just have filled out hands so that when they make a fist, their skin is doing all the support that they need.
yeah, yeah,
So if you're not
yeah,
working out your hands, especially opening, Peter always wants us to open because we do this all the time, but
yeah.
we don't do that enough. Just to build up the hands. Pete's got shovel hands. It's
Yeah,
just,
that's
yeah,
a construction worker's hands
yeah,
and
yeah.
hands that have been
I think he was a bricklayer actually. So
bricklayer.
like
Yeah,
that's
being
just
polished. That's a different level.
exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but
So
so
come here. We're on to the fish the gloves that we're at now. You know,
yep. Yep.
some of the difference. Can you explain some of
Yeah,
the
as you could
differences?
see, like a major, the it's hard to see from mine.
Oh,
Probably yours
you're
has it
showing
better.
away. You're giving the guys a look at whose gloves are they?
Yeah.
A couple of custom ones there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but if you see yours, it's a higher contrast with like the gray,
Yeah.
like the
The
embossing.
boss.
Yep, yep. So it's a screen print and then it's embossed into the leather. It even shows up better on the strap if you look at the
Yeah.
shadow on the strap. It's really like digging it in there.
Really,
Um,
really nice.
yeah. So and then going
And
back to that strap, if you open it up, you could see we're going right back to this on the inside of the strap.
yeah,
Yep. So remember this guy with
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah,
with this ribbon that
yeah,
doesn't stretch?
yeah,
Right on the inside of that, on the other side of it,
yeah,
that's the same ribbon that doesn't stretch.
yeah. Ah, yeah, I can see it here. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
So,
And then we're
but
just
that,
covered in leather
yeah. And that has the added, grip with the
with the
silicone.
silicone. Yeah, the
So,
silicone bead.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All patented, by the way, by the time this
Yes.
airs.
We're delighted now, Raf. Yeah, we've got the patent officially approved. So
Yeah, it
it's
was a
it's been a
long
long it's been a long time coming.
yeah.
But it's great. Also, we've noticed a couple of other companies that have gonna not I wouldn't say copy their design. I wouldn't say that straight away, but the design looks a lot similar to ours. Yeah.
It's flattery, I would call it, but and I'm not saying anybody can't do better than ours, but
Mm,
there's reasons that we made some of the choices for our glove, and
yeah.
um I just think we made better choices,
Yeah. And also now we've just given away the reasons, Raf. We should probably shouldn't release this. We should keep this to ourselves. You know what? I actually have one other glove here. Um, I can't say who we designed these ones for. Do you remember these? This was the
Okay, yep. Yep.
full leather.
Yeah, I
And we
think
had
that's
a
even a
couple of
top grain leather, which would be just
upgrade.
a very crazy expensive thing.
Yeah,
So you want full grain leather. That's like the centerpiece.
yeah,
Just as a PSA for folks out there, if you ever see anything that says genuine leather, that's like the bottom of the barrel stuff. That's like
yeah.
basically shredded bits that's turned into something.
Mummies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So top grain makes sense for like the highest end clothes, but really it's inappropriate for gloves because you won't be able to get it to flex, so you really want a
yeah,
full grain leather
yeah.
glove, so
We did and tried to emboss on this as well, but the old emboss
really
didn't
okay.
last
Yep.
very long because of the quality of the leather.
Yeah, see, the leather was so good and so supple and so soft
Yeah,
that it
I
just
remember
wouldn't
when you.
take.
I remember when I don't know what fight it was because we usually meet in Vegas when
Yeah.
I'm over at fights and you'll come down with the gloves.
Yeah.
But I remember when you took these out of the box and I could smell the leather off. So I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
see down the bottom here,
Oh,
the
that still
shot.
shows up a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, that's all right. We
Yeah.
have some logos on the inside of these that I can't show that we had these done, but because they're kind of faded out, we end up I end up just keeping them for myself.
Yeah.
I use these gloves. Now, I've used these gloves for many years as well. The only
Have you?
reason I've stopped using these gloves is because obviously I've got the nuance that we just showed,
Yeah, I can see how wide that one is. If you put that one up to an old to a new one, yeah,
Yeah, of course. Like,
yeah. You see even the curve, that that old one is more straight
yeah,
versus
yeah,
this one is has more curved. That's because we hadn't finished developing the
the
inside
foam.
foam yet.
Yeah, yeah, the layered foam on the
Yeah.
inside. Yeah,
Yeah.
this one is an older, kind of more square glove. But it's crazy to think, Ralph, to see where we've came. You know, people always say you just come up with the glove overnight or whatever, or the design process. Yeah, it's
Well,
something that
actually, that's a legitimate thing to say. That's absolutely a thing. You can call somebody in Pakistan today, anybody can, and just
yeah,
say, "Here's my logo, please put it on there," and they'll send you something.
yeah,
But that's also what everybody does.
yeah,
And that was never the intention for Shadow. You know what I mean? Like we getting together with like all of your experience in every type of fight scenario and training situation,
mm,
like fixing some of those problems. That's why we started Shadow. It was never about putting a cool brand name on some,
on a white label glove.
OEM. Yeah, white label OEM, just call somebody in Pakistan, stamp our logo onto it. So yeah, so it takes time if you're going to develop your own, but
Yeah,
if you're just going to put a cool logo on something, you can absolutely also do that.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
but I
it was now, as I said, it was never a goal.
Yeah,
I talked about our story and why we, I wanted to improve on the equipment because I feel the equipment let me down in my career many times over.
yeah.
You, I don't know whether have you told the funny story of why you designed the lace conveyor?
Oh, with Chris and Finney and Matt.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Matt cracked Finney's nose. It was like looking this way. He was just gushing, and he's like, "Hey, man, just go reset that." This is like my third week sparring, second week sparring. I'm like, and Matt's taped and laced, because he's got the nice big winning gloves, which
yeah.
he actually donated to us to,
Cut up.
yeah, to re-engineer. But so Matt's like, it's in between his legs. He's like trying to jump out of them, pop out of them, hurting his wrists, just so he could reset Chris's nose. And
Mm,
it's just like, yeah, you need to, yeah. And you must have this too. You're trying to run a class. All right, everybody glove up. Let's
yeah.
pair up. Let's glove up. And you
Uh,
always got one guy, hey, coach,
See, I wish it was only one, Raf. I wish it was only one. When you spend 40 minutes, lacing up everybody, it gets very frustrating. But I will always say, and you'll agree that a lace-up glove is way better than a Velcro glove.
Yeah, it just is. You can't beat
Protects
it.
right up into the palm,
Yeah.
it pulls everything tight like we spoke
Yeah.
about. But
It's like
cannot
it's
be
like if you
not convenient.
first off, two analogies to another sport. It's like you wouldn't run a marathon with Velcro shoes. You know what I
No.
mean? Like the lacing, it has to fit where it's supposed to fit. It's tight where it's supposed to be tight, loose where it's supposed to be. That's for the foot and foot bones. I had another previous career with shoe design, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, for the hand, just getting this wrist, a Velcro is only ever going to get this one section.
Yeah.
So, and then the other one of the sizing, like having a proper size glove, it's like you don't run a marathon in a medium. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And that's one of the goals that we will look into, as shadow growers
yeah, we
to
still have a long way to go. Our industry in general, and versus like footwear, different reasons, different bones, different studies, and how long it's been, and how
mm,
often we need shoes versus we need gloves. So there's already some differences there, but yeah, to try to get a better hand model to build off of in footwear, they call it a last, which is like the thing
yeah.
that they build the shoe around. And every company has their own lasts, which
Mm,
are like trade secrets. It's like
right. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like Coca-Cola. I'm like, you don't get to
Yeah.
see this.
Yeah.
So
You don't get to get all the ingredients. You don't
exactly.
get. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
But yeah. So as I said, it's a crazy road. Just looking back on the gloves, so where we started.
yeah, I suppose what tops it off is the patent
Yeah,
finally.
yeah, it's been
Obviously,
approved.
yeah, I would say that to the folks out there that still have our glove and will be ordering the next current glove, list, I guess it's a dead stock because it says patent pending on the strap.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So once our next batch of gloves come in from the factory,
Yeah.
we can strike that out. So
So what you're saying is, Rav, the gloves that we have now, up until maybe just we, if we're lucky, we get to the end of the year, they will all have patent pending, so they'll be collectibles. So you're saying that they're going to be worth a fortune. So people better buy them now. Is that what we're saying? I think
yeah,
that's what
well,
we're
I
saying,
guess
isn't
they
it?
don't stink it up and try to hack up gloves like this. I think it
Yeah.
might still be worth something, but just a rarity in our in the starting of our company. It's
Yeah.
small. It's just we got to celebrate every milestone for now.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the timing on this episode is amazing. The fact that we literally only got the news a week or so ago that the patent has been approved, and we're getting it sorted. Yeah, it is unique that all of the current gloves have patent pending, and from the next order it will no longer be the case. That'll be
Yeah,
fine.
I wonder if I put it on. I didn't put that on the gray one, did I? On the brown one, did I? It didn't say patent pending on it. Is like anything on that?
Let me see. Mm, I tell there was, Raf, there was. I remember. I don't know if you can see. So there was a bit of text. There was like a print patent
Yeah,
pending. Then our logo.
yeah, yeah. No, I remember Andre was helping me make that because we didn't give that design to the factory. We had the factory make the glove and then
Yeah,
send it to me without any of the straps. And
yeah. And then stick it on.
Andre and myself made that. And Andre was like a little master at making these stencils. He would like
Yeah,
laser cut masking tape and like spray paint
spray it on.
and like just yeah, it's lots of fun. Lots of fun to
Yeah,
look back on it. So
yeah, yeah. We've come pretty far, and yeah, the road is long ahead as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
So
it's
yeah,
just the beginning.
it's
So
yeah, it's
well,
exciting
thanks for
times.
having me on here. And then
Yeah.
yeah, we can talk again some other days on some I've been cleaning out the home
We
office here, so
also, I found a few old hybrid hand wraps.
okay.
We've got a hybrid 2.0, so we'll get into that maybe on another episode. But yeah, great having a chat, man. I'm
Let's
sure
do
we'll
it.
be on.
All
I'm sure
right.
we'll be on a call again soon enough, my man. All
All
right,
right.
be good.
Thanks, coach. Thanks everyone.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.